I will be honest with you all, I don't understand why Spiritbox is so popular, so let's discuss this. Today I'm talking about the second studio album by Spiritbox, released on March 7, 2025 through Chord and Rise Records. It's a band that's been getting a lot of hype recently, and I don't really understand the hype. I'm not saying I don't like the band, I'm just saying I don't see what makes them so much better than all the other metalcore or djent bands out there. So Spiritbox is mostly known for the singer Courtney and her husband and guitarist Mike Stringer, but I found it interesting when doing my research because I saw they were both previously in another metalcore band called I Wrestled a Bear Once, which is all one word. And I've never heard of this band before, but apparently they were pretty big. So Spiritbox is kind of a continuation of that band, and as far as I know, I Wrestled a Bear Once is no longer active. The band does not have a big discography. They have 4 extended plays and 2 full-length studio albums. Their previous studio album was called Eternal Blue, released in 2021. I had known about that album when it came out, as other channels were talking about it. I never really paid much attention to it. But they also have 4 extended plays, which is the self-titled in 2017, the singles collection in 2019, 2 extended plays that came out after Eternal Blue, and one called Rotoscope from 2022, and another one called Fear of Fear from 2023. So since they don't have a big discography, I took the liberty of listening to all their extended plays and the 2 albums, and I tried to give Tsunami Sea a few listens. That's why I waited a few days to do this video, just to give it a fair assessment, because at the time of preparing this review, I don't really get what makes them that big. So that's going to be the theme of the review. The album has 11 tracks, it's 43 minutes long. I'll be talking about the songs, I'll tell you what I think of each of them. Opening track is called Fata Morgana. They really start off with one of the heaviest songs on the album. You can hear the thick guitar notes very well, and Courtney begins with harsh vocals. I thought it was a good way to open the album. It's very pummeling. It's not a very fast-paced song, but it shows off her ability to do clean and heavy vocals. I also thought the bass guitar was audible, and the electronic elements added a different layer of sounds. The end of the song comes as more electronic sound with clean vocals. I thought it was a good track to kick off the album. Then there was Black Rainbow, and let me say, right off the bat, this was my favorite song on the album. They turned up the heaviness in this one, if that's possible, but they also added this industrial element to the sound. But the real reason I like the song the best is because of those robot vocals that Courtney does. I think it really made the song stand out, and she has some of her best screams on this track. This one's a little more intense, it moves at a faster speed. I know I said the first track was the heaviest, but this one is also heavy, but a different kind of heavy, and that's why I liked it so much. Next is Perfect Soul. This is the second single that was released last November. The song is a cool music video, shot in black and white. I like the song, but also one of the more radio-friendly songs with more pop elements and clean singing. So in other words, they dialed down the heaviness a little on this one. I could still hear some distorted riffs, but I felt there were not as many memorable ones in this song. After this is Keep Sweet, and this one uses a lot of electronics in the sound. This reminded me of something you would hear from the band Ginger. There were moments with heavy guitars and harsh vocals in the second part, but this one also sounded a little more radio-friendly. I was surprised they didn't release this as a single. I thought it was a decent track. I wouldn't say one of my favorites. So far on this album, I thought the first 2 songs were the best. Then there was Soft Spine. This was the first single that was released back in September. It was a good one. Had some of those pummeling riffs and harsh vocals. It had a black and white music video similar to the last one. I like the way Courtney does her hardcore style screams in this one. It was a good song for the lead single because it's heavy, and usually not a good idea for bands to release a softer song as a lead single because it makes people worry about the rest of the album. After this is Tsunami Sea, another one that reminded me of the band Ginger. It must have something to do with progressive metal style guitar riffs. The song starts off heavy but then gets very soft. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like this one that much. But on the other hand, it was one of the catchier songs, and the chorus was memorable, but in my opinion, probably one of the weaker ones. The next song is called A Haven with Two Faces. This is one of those songs that, on the one hand, sounds almost like ambient music, but they also have those pummeling riffs. So it's a nice blend of the heaviness and the lighter sounds, and there are also clean vocals in the first part. Then the second part, you hear the heavier vocals, had more of that djent sound. So also the longest song at 5.5 minutes. So there are a few different sections and a few moments where it gets heavy. But despite this, I thought it was a decent album cut. Not saying my favorite or anything, but it's good. Next is No Loss, No Love. This was the most recent single released last February. This one has a black and white music video, and there's a lot more cinematic. I guess that's a good word for it. And Courtney's wearing this different hairstyle. She kind of reminds me of Tatiana in this one. It's a really good song, probably one of my favorites. Really intense bass guitar sound. But I have to comment on one thing. There's a spoken part in the middle, and then towards the end, it reminds me a lot of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. But other than that, it's a super heavy song, very brutal. Probably has some of Courtney's best vocals, and I like it a lot. Next song is Crystal Roses. The intro sounds like that instrumental music you hear before every YouTube video when they do the countdown to the premiere. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, but other than that, it's more electronic and pop sounding. Sounds like that electronica trip hop or something like that, and for me, one of the weaker tracks. There are 2 more songs on the album. The penultimate song is called Ride the Wave. It's one of those songs I thought it was okay. Pretty much Spiritbox by the numbers. It's type of song, very representative of the sound. I like the heavy part towards the end. It kind of takes a while to take off, but other than that, I don't have much else to say about it. Last track is called Deep End. Another one of those songs. It mixes a lot of different heavy and light parts. The first verse includes clean singing by Courtney. It also has a pretty cool progressive metal style guitar riff, and then has some softer electronic sections in the middle of the song. Pretty good, kind of anticlimactic. Didn't blow me away, but it's the last song on the album, so it's not too bad. So, in conclusion, in the beginning of the video, I asked the question, is this new album worth the hype? And the answer is no. It's a little overhyped, but at the same time, not saying it's a bad album. So, for example, there are some really great songs. So, for example, the first 2 tracks, Fata, Morgana, and Black Rainbow, was the perfect 1-2 punch to kick off the album. And I like the third single, No Loss, No Love, a lot. Other than that, it was a decent album. There are some songs I liked, some songs were weaker ones, and I mentioned all those throughout the video. As for a typical metalcore band, I think they're very good. They're talented. Not the best thing out there. For example, the albums by Ginger and Killswitch Engage that came out last month were better than this, but still good enough to make my end of the month list. For now, my score is 7.5 out of 10. It could go up, but that's what it is for now. So that is all. This is my first time reviewing this band, so usually at this time I'll put a related video right here, but I don't really have one, so I'm going to stick something of a recent video I did. But other than that, thanks for watching. Please give the video a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.